Steam is the biggest PC games platform in the world, and that's likely never going to change. But just like a huge city, there's an area that's decrepit and run down. Steam community. It's always been the most neglected part of Steam, both on Valve and the user's part. I think everyone can come to a consensus that everything outside of Steam reviews and the Steam Workshop always kind of sucked. Curators are unreliable and are basically just used for memes. Forums have always been unconstructive and it's mostly unmoderated. And most Steam users don't engage with the Steam community, outside of reading the occasional review and browsing the Steam Workshop. But for the past 5 years or so, Steam community has been completely unusable. It's become a toxic wasteland of rage bait, spamming, toxicity, and botting, and I think we all know why that happened. Steam Community Awards. They were introduced all the way back in 2020 with the creation of the Steam Points system. You get 100 points for every dollar spent, and you can then spend those points to pretty up your Steam profile, or you can spend your points on sending someone a community award as a way to recognize whatever it is they did. It's basically Steam emojis. The entire point of Steam Points and community awards was just Valve thanking users for their business and to finally try to foster Steam community engagement. However, there was a fatal flaw. As I mentioned before, community awards cost Steam points, and those awards are sent to other users. And when a user receives a community award, they actually get Steam points on top of it as well. For example, if you wanted to send someone a Jester award, it would cost you 600 Steam points. And once you send it to them, the recipient would receive 200 Steam points in return. More on Jesters later. And as a result of this small yet significant detail about community awards, turn them from a way to just engage with the greater Steam community and recognize something noteworthy into a way to transfer Steam points to other people. This created an actual black market for Steam points. I'm not even kidding. For example, there are people that want to get the seasonal badge that costs 40,000 Steam points, but they don't want to have to spend $400 to get those points. They would then go through a third party, either a website or another Steam user, to essentially buy Steam points in bulk, and this third party will then give them however many community awards it would take for them to get 40,000 Steam points, essentially transferring those points over. But community awards cost Steam points, which you can only get through either spending money or someone sends you an award. Where are all of these points coming from that can be sold? Well, there's two main ways. The first method is that people would make entire Steam accounts to act as banks for Steam points, and they would then hack into other people's accounts and then have the hacked account give one of the hacker's accounts as many Steam awards as the hacked account could give them, basically draining all of the hacked account's Steam points and then transferring over to one of their own. Or, the second and definitely most widespread method is to Jester farm. What is Jester farming? Well, you just make an account, or just use your existing one, and then just spam the Steam community with as much rage bait, memes, trolling, and the worst takes on any topic you could possibly imagine, all in the hope that people would give their nonsense a Jester award, which to most users is the equivalent of calling them a clown, or as a public dislike button on whatever they did. And this method was the one that ruined the Steam community. You couldn't open anything from Steam reviews, guides, or discussions without some basement dweller spewing out the worst takes, reviews, or just other disgusting nonsense about anything to get people upset enough to give them a Jester award. I open up a Steam review and I just see,
Baldur's Gate 3 is woke. The character creator says body type instead of male or female, and you can be transgender. You can romance any of your party members regardless of who your character is. This game is disgusting pornography and should be banned.
Or, I open up a popular Steam discussion post and they're talking about Angela in Marvel Rivals. Everyone's just talking about the game and her abilities, and then some degenerate just goes, "Oh, why is Angela so big and muscular in this game? She looks like a man. A gay man too. Why don't they make her the hot babe she is in the comics? Are the devs appealing to the radical left? Has the East fallen too?" Or they make a discussion post themselves and it's just blatant rage bait like,
Hey, this game is interesting, but in your character creator, does it say body type 1 and 2? I hope it's male and female, as that's scientifically correct. I don't want to support the game otherwise.
just garbage like that. It was everywhere. If you say you weren't seeing things like that, then you either don't engage with the Steam community or you're a liar. Plain and simple. There were also guides that people published titled things like How to Jump in Skyrim, and the guide is just one sentence that says to use the spacebar and people give it awards because it's funny. At least that's harmless. But again, the whole point of them making that guide was to farm community awards, and that was incredibly widespread too. You couldn't browse Steam guides without seeing a couple of joke guides like that at all. But all of that should finally come to an end on January 13th, 2026, where Valve announced out of nowhere that they are getting rid of the old Steam award system and replacing them with these new awards that not only cost the same amount of points at 500 points each, but that these new awards will not transfer points. And this change was to go into effect immediately. They will honor any pending points transfer from the old community awards, but once those are done, transferring Steam points will be no more. This should finally put an end to this Steam point black market fueled by the old community awards, and with it should all this rampant toxicity driven by this insatiable hunger for Steam points that's been plaguing the Steam community for the past 5 years. Now, this change does make Steam points harder to get. You can't just post a good review on a game and get a couple of thousand Steam points anymore. But look, you don't need Steam points. It's just a nice way for Valve to thank Steam users for using their service. You don't buy points when you're on Steam, you buy games. It's a PC game storefront. The points are the equivalent of a real-life cashier saying thank you for your purchase. That's it. That's all it needs to be. Now, I'm not dumb enough to think that everything that community awards brought is going to disappear. There will always be toxic jerks. They predate the existence of Steam points. However, the most vocal population of them, if not most of them altogether, will be gone because they were mostly engaging Steam community in the first place to jester farm for awards, and then to sell the points off. Of course, this change is very recent, and only time can tell if all the toxicity, spamming, and rage bait will actually reduce, but Valve wouldn't make this change if they didn't think it'd work. And considering how slow they do work, they must have noticed this problem for a while now. I'm just grateful for this change. It was much needed, and I do think this saved the Steam community. Cause man, was it bad these past couple of years. But I would love to hear what you guys think in the comments down below. Thank you for watching. If you learned anything, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.